Miz, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Now, listen, since we last spoke, I wanted to check in to see if anything's changed. Have you made any changes with your finances and has it become a bigger part of your conversation?
Couple, yeah, definitely. One is talking to girls a lot more with friends and stuff, and just checking in. Are you all right? Do you need, even with like, because sometimes we can feel embarrassed for borrowing money or asking if we need help financially. So bringing that up with my friends. And again, I think I've talked more about with my husband about setting a savings account separate for myself for the business. So that way I know for definite how much my profit is coming in and how much I'm actually earning. And am I making a loss? And is it worth it in the long term for me to stick with what I'm doing?
And before, was your husband kind of taking that as his responsibility so you didn't have to?
He was doing a lot of the admin, the profit and the loss and whatever. And I got him to sit down with me and show me what's what, because I've never filled in a tax return, obviously. I'd never even really looked at my P60 properly, thought, oh, I don't really need it. It's done, whatever kind of thing. So he's taught me all through that. So in that sense, I'm more financially aware of what's coming in, what's going out. But the main thing for me is talking to my daughter a lot more. Because she's talking about going to Korea, she's into Japanese culture, and she was like, but I don't think I can make that happen. So I thought about our chat and I thought, okay, so how can I make it relatable to her? I said, bank of mum and dad won't always be there. So if you are financially fit and you start saving your little pennies now, and by the time you get uni, so if you've already started saving now, little pennies from your birthday money, your Eid money, you'll have that money and you will be financially fit to think, oh, I don't have to struggle to book that flight. I don't have to struggle to get that accommodation. I don't have to struggle to think about, oh, I can't go out there. So start making that dream a reality now, because these are the little things we didn't do as kids. Our parents really didn't teach us, and I wish they had.
That's amazing, Miss. That one conversation that we had, has that triggered this? Was that the driving force behind it?
It made me think about, like I said, with my childhood, my mum was a brilliant mom. And, I saw her struggle as a single parent and save money here and there and, rely on credit cards. But we never talked about, how to save money. She never had that discussion with me. And I never really sat down and looked at how money was coming in for her, how she managed.
So there's lots of little ways that actually accumulate to something really quite big and meaningful. If your kids grow up seeing that, they'll emulate that behaviour because it's learnt behaviour.
Again, this is what I said to my daughter. I said, look, these were the things that I wish my mum had shown me. She was a brilliant mum, but things like the money and the money side of things and what to do, in the worst case of emergency, we never had that kind of discussion. We never talked about anything like that. But again, I think for women, like you said, there's never a discussion and we're never as open with our finances, and we don't always think about, am I financially comfortable? Am I financially fit? And slowly, I hope, we get better as we practice what we're preaching.
So let's just track this back, right? We had one conversation, which was quite illuminating. I could see that there was these kind of wide-eyed responses from you and Huss and Janet, and you all started to share. My ambition was that this would become something you did something with, but also that you would keep that conversation running. You said that you have taken responsibility of your business finances, you're educating your kids and giving them dreams-based targets. Like, that's major, right? It's really, you're supporting their ambitions, but then you're putting a bit of a reality check around it that's age appropriate, saying, save, plan, invest, nothing comes for nothing. What else have you been what else have you been doing? I mean, this is major, Miz. This is one conversation. Look at all the branches that's growing off this tree.
I think in terms of the business, I think it's my ability in being confident. And again, it's a discussion that happens with so many home bakers, to not undersell myself and undervalue myself, and have the confidence. So again, a couple of customers who have quoted for cakes, and it's out of their budget. But then obviously I have to think it may be out of their budget, but then if I go down to what their budget is, then I'm putting myself out of pocket. And for the amount of time, like just the one cake that I've got coming up, it'll take me a good 2 days to get it finished, and all the expenses of the molds that I use and the equipment that I use. That's what customers don't see. So to not undersell myself and feel confident in my prices, and that the right customers will come to me eventually.
What about future-proofing your finances? Things like investments, wills. Have you any action points around that?
But in regards to the will, that's one thing that me and my husband have both talked about, because again, Islamically, we need to make sure that everything is accounted for and that our children inherit what they are rightly supposed to inherit. Because that's one thing that we've never discussed.
You haven't. So that was that. I mean, when you think about it, it's a major, major piece of life admin that most people avoid or just don't get to. And you've addressed that. So that one conversation, we spoke for 1 hour. And from that, you have started having a really meaningful dialogue with action points with your kids.
Because I explained to my daughter, there's a difference between need and want. You need clothes, you need food, you need water. All the other things, materialistic, they're wants, so because she's got about 30 quid saved up from birthday money and whatever. And she was like, Eve that's just gone, oh, I want to buy this and I want to buy that. I said, yeah, you can do. But look how long it's took you to get that 25, 30 quid. And within 5 minutes, it'll be gone. And then you'll be back to ground zero. Build yourself up a little bit till you've got a bit. Then slowly treat yourself on the odd occasions. We're not saying don't treat yourself, but on your birthday and whatever, yeah, buy yourself something nice. But don't go and blow all of that at once, because then you'll be sitting there thinking, oh, all that money's gone and it took me so long to get it.
But that's mindfulness, right? So we would teach our kids to be mindful and about their emotional well-being. Well, you're teaching financial mindfulness in that.
Yeah, financial mindfulness. Yeah, because again, we never had those conversations as kids.
How financially fit do you think you would have been had your mum had those conversations with you compared to where you were financially when we first spoke?
In all honesty, much better, because again, I had this conversation with my daughter and my husband said to her, so when obviously I got married, I was only 17. Because in our culture, the bride and the groom get money. Because we'd never had the money talk. I had like a good couple of £100 in cash. I went and blew it all on CDs. But now I look at it and I think, oh my God, what did I do? Kind of thing. So again, teaching my daughter, yeah, treat yourself on the occasion. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself, but don't go and blow everything like we did. Because again, if we were more sensible in our younger years, we'd be in a much better position than what we are now.
And what about when you talk to your friends about finances? What was the reaction? Were you surprised?
Yeah, because again, none of them have like openly discussed stuff and little things like, yeah, because a couple of my friends are home bakers and they were like, yeah, well, actually, yeah, we just do it and we don't really account for what we're doing. So again, a couple of my friends are like, okay, well, maybe we need to look at it a bit more in terms of profit and loss and really looking at all the paperwork side of things, as stressful as it is, because again, if we're not taking care of those little things, it all adds up and you'll find yourself in such a pit.
This sounds like it was transformative in terms of that first chat.
Yeah, I think it was definitely meant to be, so thank you very much.
I really believed that if we got women talking about money, it would be transformative, that it would put leaves on their branches.
It's like to have that confidence that, yeah, I can talk about money. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Because again, when we talk about how we earn a third or a quarter less than men do, but we don't know our own value. And when we do talk about, if we do talk about ourselves in a positive way financially, we seem to be, gloating or showing up, but why shouldn't we? And when you start doing it, so when I did the HMRC papers and for my self-assessment, I actually felt so proud of myself. I actually did it. I actually did that. I put pen down to paper. I told myself I need to do it. And I actually do it. I feel like a proper grown-up.
Because money is just the thing that sits at the heart of it. We need it to get through life, to trade through life, to pay our way through life. And there's nothing wrong with being ambitious for more for yourself. Because I do believe that there's something we can all do, even if it's just changing the way we think.
Yeah, it was literally like a light bulb moment. That's the only way I can explain it. It's like, actually, she's right. What am I doing? What have I done to make sure that, I know my income. I know if I'm making a loss. I know that, for my future goals, this is what I need to do. And I know that I am financially secure and I am happy with what I've got.